All right, guys, we are at the Golden Horns after party right now,
Yep.
and having a good time. And
Yeah, it's just been pretty crazy over here all day.
Been a fun night, fun day. I want to welcome back, of course, the great Lucio Finci.
Thank you.
That name, new name, coined by the great Paul, aka Bucker Bonsai. So thank you for that.
Yes, thank you.
Cool name.
Very flattered.
Fitting name, I think.
Yes. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So yeah, this is a big day here for us because one, we're of course celebrating, the awards and the great year in horror. We're also celebrating. This is essentially our Christmas get together, which we do every year. We didn't get to get together during Christmas, so we're actually going to exchange gifts and stuff. And it's also a certain person's birthday tomorrow.
Uh-oh.
Yours truly.
Hey. Wow.
So he's surprised. He didn't even know. So yeah, so it's a big fun night tonight here, and we're going to get ripped and continue to party.
Crazy shenanigans going on.
So what better time to shoot a segment?
Yeah.
What we're going to do is, well, first let's have a beer.
Yeah.
You watched us by now. We do this in our segments. We have a beer that we've never tried before. This is a classic that I've always wanted to have this.
I've never even heard of it. Oh.
No?
It's the Old Speckled Hen.
It's an ale from England. So all you
interesting color and everything too.
Yeah, all you English viewers probably have had this. So put it on the card, of course. Consumerism, we support that, and debt. I always have problems with this stuff. There you go. So cheers to the year in horror. Cheers to
great year.
Christmas, friends.
Christmas,
birthdays, getting old,
and everything. Cheers to you.
Ready.
Very good.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is.
It's kind of tastes like how it looks. It's kind of like very light.
Yeah, it's not very heavy or nothing like that.
Not bad. All right, let's get to it.
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys know. I hope you enjoyed the awards, and best picture we're going to talk about now is the nominees. We're going to do a little take on each one. The one film, We Are What We Are. Finchie has yet to see it.
I have not.
So we'll skip that one. I actually did recommend that film early in season 1, so if you missed that, check that out. And please, just go fucking buy that film. It's amazing. It is also available now in Region 1. I had gotten it on a Region 2 release, so it's available for everybody now. Please go buy that film. We Are What We Are is fantastic, original, I guess, cannibal family film, I'll say. So we'll go now with the rest of the nominees. Let's start with Cold Fish.
Cold Fish.
Asian film. Director Sion Sono, who won, of course, a Horny today. So for Best Director. He's a director I've loved for a long time. I personally, I don't know about you, I know you haven't seen all of his films, but I put him up there on the same level as like Takashi Miike, who we're big fans of.
Right, yeah.
And so what did you think of Cold Fish?
I really liked it a lot. There was all kinds of crazy shit going on in that one. Like, you start off with your little guy with his boring life and whatnot, and, owns his little fish shop. And
it's cool having the fish shop angle. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. And
two guys who own a fish shop, if you haven't seen it.
We love fish too. So
yeah, we are
cool.
like aquarium fans, so that was cool. Yeah, cool. Then there's a lot of touches on a lot of issues that you can bring up, dealing with a second wife, dealing with your older daughter, dealing with a new mother,
family
issues,
that
angle,
like with
with
the
family.
daughter hated the mom, this new mother.
There's dealing with just self-confidence issues, obviously. Insecurities is a big part of the film.
Her being unhappy in the marriage.
Right. And the lead actor, the father, being really, has bad self-confidence issues.
Yeah.
And that's really what it's about. It's a lot of character issues within family and within yourself, and what happens when that's pushed
trying to break out of those. When you get pushed out.
When you get pushed to the level and turning the table, shall we say, without giving too much away. But it has everything that Sion Sono films have. They have good issues, but they're also, of course, at times over the top. They have strong cast, hot chicks.
The cast was great, yeah.
Really hot chicks. Great performances, though, by the two lead actors, hence the reason they were up for a Horny. So just a great all-around film. I think a good film for anyone who hasn't seen any of his films. I think that's a good introduction to his.
Yeah, I think so too.
His repertoire of films, his style. Yeah. So If you haven't seen Cold Fish, please, it's a
It's
must.
a good ending too.
Great ending, yeah.
Which, you know, obviously endings are
Important.
kind of what makes or breaks a movie at
Mhm.
times, and this movie kind of has it all. It keeps you interested the whole time, and
That last
and
half hour.
yeah, it just
just like-
totally you're just like, it totally goes
He
in that
pushes
crazy.
up the
yeah,
pushes the throttle in the last half hour. So that's
Yeah.
Cold Fish, and another
Yeah.
one that I think kind of fit. It's cool that this. I think it shows how diverse horror is in general, but also this year that my 5 nominees were: we have an Asian film, we have two Spanish films, a Canadian film, and a French film. Unfortunately, America was not represented in the, my final 5, but nonetheless, it just shows how diverse across the world.
Yeah.
People putting good entries to horror. But anyway, next one we'll go with The Last Circus.
Circus.
Unbelievable.
Another
film.
one like just all over,
Unbelievable.
like so much to get into. I guess. With
Yeah,
that.
we're gonna try to keep these shorts, these takes
Yeah.
as short as we can.
The
Great cast.
Cast was,
Great cast.
The characters were over the, a lot more over the top. Like,
Character
they were
driven.
Very character driven.
I think the narrative to me was very like literary. I could see it being a book, the way it was presented. I think
Yeah.
the narrative was very. I could sense this could have been a book. Another thing I got to bring up, and I showed this to my buddy Jason somewhat recently. The original title is. It's I'm gonna say it wrong. So basically, the actual title of this film is The Ballad of the Sad Trumpet, and it pisses me off that this film, when it was of course converted to get more audience, they changed it to The Last Circus, which is a completely bullshit title. The Ballad of the Sad Trumpet, if you've seen the film, is way more
It would
fitting.
make a lot more sense. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. There's
So it
an
kind of
anecdote.
does make more sense.
Like
you know?
it's really pisses me off that if you've seen the film,
Yeah.
it's amidst
Somewhat
shroud underneath all the craziness of this film is actually I think a good deep meaning of wanting to find love and wanting to be loved.
Yeah.
That's ultimately
And-
what this movie is
Yeah,
about.
I think so too.
Done in a very crazy,
Yeah.
creative way, but that's really, the lead character. If you've seen it, he had a tough childhood, lost his father, who was a clown, and he wanted to be loved. He said, "There's a lot of. I've watched this several times now. This film, and you pick up things. I think the more you watch it, little hints. So it's like a record. We love music, of course,
Mhm.
and when you listen to a record for the first time and you like it, but you're not
Yeah,
totally
there's
into
so
it.
much going
right,
on,
and then
bombarding
you play it
everywhere,
again,
and so
and then you just love it even more.
you
That's
got
what
time
this
to break
movie is.
things down a little more.
That's what this movie to me is
Yeah.
kind of like. And
Yeah, I agree with that. I've actually only seen it once so far, so I
Definitely
still
one of
have a
those
lot to
ones.
go back to. But
if you watch it again, I think
Yeah.
you'll.
but oh man, the characters
much
in there.
characters.
Oh my god.
It's a cool thing. So much to talk about this film. I love though in the beginning though, just a good homage to horror is when the credits start. There's this cool music, dramatic music, and they have like split images pop up from like there's a lot of political stuff in this film as well. But it shows like political leaders, personalities. It shows like Hollywood personalities, but also shows like horror icons. Frankenstein pops up. They have like Cannibal Holocaust scene pops up. So it's kind of
Right.
cool. There's a lot of homages to horror. The one scene where the lead guy takes the lovely Carolina Bain, is her name,
Right.
up for Best Actress. He takes her to like a little haunted house. If you
Right.
remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So there was just little cool things, homages to horror throughout. And I love that I've mentioned some of the one-liners in this film. The guy in the beginning stands up and says, "Long live the circus," and then he gets killed. I thought that was cool. Or when, towards the end of the film, she says to him, I won't give anything away, but she says to him, "You don't have to be funny. I love you, sad clown." I thought that was just
Yeah, that was
an awesome
that was a
line.
very powerful
Yeah.
point in the movie too. The
a
ending-
great line.
I thought the ending was amazing. I
Not
think.
give it away, that last
Yeah, without
scene.
giving away.
very
Yeah,
last
yeah,
scene
the
was
very last
perfect.
scene. Yeah,
Perfect.
It really was.
Artsy, funny, but also just
It just
strong.
rolled up everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
it
the
was
last
great.
scene of that movie. Just awesome. The Last Circus.
Yeah,
There's
really.
a lot to take in with it. I recommend seeing it more than once. I watched it on Blu-ray recently, and it just looks great. Again, cast. It's got everything you want. It's got humor.
Yeah.
It's got over-the-topness, obviously, and it's got some, I think, good meaning to it too. So,
It's got fun circus folk as well.
circus, of course. The circus is a character in itself too.
Yeah, it really is.
The jumper.
Yeah.
What do you call
Oh
him?
yeah, it goes
He's
into the wall and
hilarious.
shit. Yeah.
So, highly amazing film. I don't have any knocks against that film. And we'll see if we're over. We could be talking to nothing right now.
Maybe we should go
I'll
check
check
that.
it out, and we'll come back with
Yeah.
another segment.
Made it.
Got 2 minutes.
Hey.
All right, we're back, having a good time. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not big on this beer.
Yeah, it's kind of like the more you drink it, the more it's like, eh.
Has a malt,
It's alright,
malty
yeah. It's a little
flavor
malty,
to it.
but it was pretty good though.
Gotta try it.
Whatever. What you can do.
Okay, gonna go with next one. This is definitely my most controversial selection nominee. It's funny, I think in general this film, I'm generalizing obviously, but friends that I have, their opinion that matters, reading a lot of reviews, which I do, the consensus is definitely not positive for this film, but my whole inner group of friends, I've actually seen this film 4 or 5 times, and everyone that I've shown in our circle of friends has really loved it.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just us. It's us against the world, this movie. So we're gonna not defend it, but obviously it was up for Best Picture, and this is actually
It's just our opinion on it.
this is our opinion. We're not knocking your opinion. Obviously, that's what's great about movies. It's subjective. So, but it is the pack. This was you did like a top 5. This was your number 2.
Yeah, that also was my number 2.
So really cool. So let's get to work on this. Let me go. Everything that I love about horror film, I think this film succeeds with, and that's great cast. I think there's so much feelings about this movie that I have to corral all of them. Great cast. Let's talk about the cast first then.
Okay.
You have
the hot lead chick.
the lead girl who was up for multiple Hornies this year.
More than one away.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Bada bing. So yeah, she was fantastic. She's hot, obviously, but I think her performance was fantastic.
Yeah.
She's alumni of the film Brotherhood of the Wolf, who also had Philippe Nahan, who I'm a huge fan of. I know you like him.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Love him. I'll say it right now. I've heard people knock him that his role in this film was kind of wasted. If you're a fan of him, he typically, more times than not, plays basically a scumbag, dirtbag killer. So I think it was actually completely refreshing that he played.
I think that's a really stupid
It
argument.
is a stupid argument. And it was refreshing to see him in a different role, comic relief, a good guy. I mean, he had
you don't want to be pigeonholed as just one. You can only play this type of character, and that's it.
He's a great actor.
He can do more than that.
He was great.
I thought he was really good. He was a character, man.
He's a great actor. Funny. I mean, this guy right here, you can't see it, but he got me his autograph.
Yeah,
at the last horror
about
hound.
2 months ago. He was a really sweet guy. He didn't say much, but I mean, he was a good guy.
For you French fans, I just love I Stand Alone. Obviously, High Tension, he gets a lot of credit for it, but so many great French films. But anyway, so he was fantastic as a good guy.
Yeah.
One of the mother of the pack. Jason and I called her French Roseanne Barr. I thought that's what she was like. I thought she was great.
Well, that's suitable. Yeah.
What do you think?
That works. Yeah, I can go with that.
The other lead guy. I'm sorry with the names. We're not saying their names, but I thought the other lead guy, the son of Roseanne. I thought he was fantastic. So a great cast, and it had that. Let's get on some of the knocks. Kind of rebut it.
Yeah.
I know plot-wise, you could definitely consider it derivative, pedantic. It's not the most original plot, but my argument to that is a lot of great horror films out there
most of them
are not original.
A lot of plots are not really that original.
So it's the execution that, to me, I think this is, you hear the word throwback used a lot with horror films.
Mm-hmm.
Hobo with Shotgun was an obvious, deliberate throwback to 70s Grindhouse.
Right.
Ty West, House of the Devil was an obvious throwback to 80s horror. Chillerama. Drive-in.
Yeah.
This, I think, was an homage, not so deliberate. It was a modern homage to me of like I could see this movie back in the 80s done by like Lindbergh and Bava.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean? It had 80s things too. It had comic relief thrown in there. The bikers in this film.
Yeah.
They reminded me of like the bikers from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but like a little more adult, nasty like that. But Jordan, Minnesota was the one guy's name. One of the bikers' name was Jordan, Minnesota. I thought that was hilarious. So they added some comic relief to it. Obviously, Philippe Nahan did. So 80s horror films always kind of had, the shirt. I fuck on the first day. So they had that element. You also had, like I said, great cast. And just the story, a monster story. They could have definitely, it's a short film, it's like 80 minutes.
Yeah.
I could totally see they could have added another 20 minutes describing a little more of the past of these monsters.
Origins,
they could have, but
stuff like that.
But I like a little mystery.
It's also cool when you don't.
Yeah,
'cause
it was
just
ambiguous.
Like, yeah, it's just the way it is.
I like that. When it comes to a monster movie, I don't need to know everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think they give some.
Sometimes it ruins it.
Yeah, they give some vague innuendo throughout of what the pack is, but I was fine with that. But I could see they definitely could have added, another 10 to 15 minutes, but it didn't bother me at all. And let's get to the monsters themselves. We were talking about this before we were shooting. Everyone compares them as rip-offs to the Descent monsters. I can obviously see why you would say they look like them, but as I said, when I first saw this film, it didn't even occur to me.
About it at all.
Like, I didn't see them and say, "Oh, Descent."
Yeah.
I thought
it wasn't
they
in
looked
my
great.
head at all.
Exactly.
No.
I thought they looked great. I thought no CGI.
Yeah, another big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, no CGI in this movie. I thought the monsters looked awesome. I thought the screams they did, I thought were cool. And ultimately, let's get to the nitty gritty of why we like this film. French films, I think in general, I think that new wave term of French films, horror films, they kind of get most talked about for the brutalness and the gore. But I think what they all I feel have is atmosphere. And a distinct French, even from the opening credits where it's red, the red font on black, and there's like a windy noise in the background. Just French horror movie.
Yeah.
And I think this relished in that. And I think we've said this a million times. We love atmosphere.
Yeah,
we'll keep saying that. I think this film epitomized it.
Yeah, it had so much of it. Though in those, like I know you're gonna bring up certain scenes which are just.
If you're not big on that stuff, I could see not liking this film as much. But we get off on that stuff.
Yeah.
It's the little subtle nuances.
Little things,
Let's bring up some of them. There's two scenes in this film in particular that I like to clap. I told you guys this, when I watch horror films, sometimes I literally just go like this during some scenes. I did this twice for this movie. And the first one was when the monsters are first introduced.
When they first come out of the ground.
And first you hear the wind, you actually hear the wind, and then you see there's like a chime blows, something's happening, and then they come
building up.
The music, we'll touch on the music later, but music starts to play, the hands come out, and I was just like, honestly, you don't see that often.
Yeah.
Just this classic, like old school.
It's not like
a hand comes out of the ground.
It's not a stupid jump scare or nothing stupid like that.
Exactly.
They actually build it up and
hand comes out. Coming. Monster comes out.
Slowly emerges out of there.
You got rain. And when they first pop out, I was just like, awesome. Combined with that music,
the moonlight and everything.
I'm like, oh. Big moon in the background. It's little things like that Finch and I really love, and there's a lot of that sprinkled out through the movie. Showing their cool house that they lived in, that she and her son lived in. It was like reminded me of like an old Fulci looking house, and they pan back and it's all cloudy and gloomy, and it just stuff like that. And there's a lot of it in French films. As far as like originality, I'm not comparing. One of my favorite French horror films is probably like Inside. I love that film. I'm not going to say this is up on that level to me, but I think it's just as good as some of the other ones. They get a lot of credit, like Martyrs, High Tension, but like some great, just on originality and how something's derivative. Calvaire, you like that film? Fabrice Dewell's, never seen that. Calvaire, great French horror film, completely unoriginal plot, but it's
how you use it.
The atmosphere, the character-driven, how it's actually executed was fantastic. Sheaton.
Oh yeah.
Not original plot at all.
Yeah.
But character-driven, atmosphere. Awesome. Vincent Cassel just, that's so French films, I think, all have that. They're almost like poetic in a way, they have a distinct vibe to them, and I think the pack is perfect for this. And the second scene was, I know I ramble, we both love this film. Later in the movie, there's a scene where, again, the pack is after the lead chick, and they're following her through the field. And there's fog, moon, the music is playing.
Theme music.
Theme music. How often do you see anymore a horror film that has its own theme music? And there's this great synth-based, string-based theme song that runs throughout this movie, I think 3 different times. First time it's by itself. Second time it's a little more layered. And the third time they add drums to it. And it's just, to me, it reeks 80s.
Like the film, it builds up.
Yeah, it builds up, and they follow her through this field. You see the moon, fog, the music's playing. They pan back, and you see each pack monster kind of standing around her. It's unbelievable.
Great.
Just love that. I think it's one of my favorite scenes. I'm not exaggerating. Like one of my favorite scenes, period, in a horror film in the last few years. So it's those, I don't know if you'd even call them subtleties, but it's those nuances that we get off on. I think they nailed it with this. So I think if you're not big on that stuff, I can see maybe not loving as much.
Yeah.
Other than like you could see wherever they were is more rural, but behind them you could see the light of whatever city.
Yeah, like there was like a big, like
It was
it was
a big
off in
skyline.
the
It
distance.
was off in the distance. I don't know what city it was in France, but behind all this like rural moodiness, you have like the lights of whatever city it was backlining. That looked amazing. I thought these monsters. I don't know. I love the monsters. The atmosphere was amazing. Theme music, great cast, gore. We didn't even mention that. The gore is not a lot, but it's completely well done.
Yeah.
The cool John Wayne cowboy, by the way, he was funny. John. Yes, we just love this film. I really kind of surprised that this film hasn't gotten more credit than it has. I understand some of the complaints, but I guess we just we look.
It's our personal taste.
It's our personal taste.
To do with all that stuff.
I fucking love this movie,
great.
and I've watched it seriously 4 or 5 times already, and each time I love it more. And kind of a cool twist ending, somewhat. I thought that was kind of old school. I could see Fulci doing.
Yeah, like I
like
almost
that.
thought. I'm like, whoa, like what? And
It
like,
kind of throws you.
It
But
throws you for a second, and then you're just like, oh shit.
Cheers to the pack, man.
Cheers.
We love it. We'll come back with talk about the winner of the best picture of the year.